Okay, this is gonna be a rant today on PJ's Daycare. Wow, what a great way to start my first ever video about talking something that's long dead. While I know PJ's Daycare is, well, long dead, what's not long dead is my hate for it. Again, PJ's Daycare, if you don't know, is an Undertale fan comic. It involves the main AU cast members being Ink, Error, and Cross, and making them babies while say there's ships in the community. So say there's like a kid from the ship, such as like Paper Jam, they'd become an adult. The exceptions being characters such as Pallet and Goth, who are 12. Anyways, one of the first points in the comic where you get like, hey, this is kind of weird, is a relationship between Baby Fresh and adult Paper Jam, where Baby Fresh really goes, I want to marry you when I grow up. We're still like, oh, sounds like normal kid behavior. Like, all kids go like, I want to marry you when I grow up. Instead of, though, acting like a normal adult and saying, oh, you can't marry me, though. I'm an adult. He says, oh, you can marry me when I'm older. While at first you think, oh, maybe he's just trying to get him to stop talking about that. It's kind of correlates to, like, grooming. Most groomers, when they're trying to, like, groom someone, will say, like, oh, you can be with me when you're older, or we can, like, be together when you're older. Which is how you mainly groom someone. And also, like, there's literally a segment of an ask where they're like, what if Paper Jam saw adult Fresh, points fingers together, what if Fresh became an adult? And, like, he gets turned on by, like, one who was once still technically Baby Fresh, becoming an adult, and be like, oh no, he's hot. Like, I guess, okay, again, you can excuse that by saying, like, oh, maybe they're trying to be funny, maybe that was their humor. Okay, so let's look at another instance of things not being, great. With being, there's a ship between two characters in the comic called Poth. Those are between Pallet and Goth. Pallet and Goth were really good friends, but he thinks Goth likes someone else because one of their friends, don't remember his name for the life of me, well, like, shows up. And he, like, starts flirting with this other woman. Because, like, comments are like, oh my god, I think she's looking for PJ's Daycare, go talk to her. And, her name is Fika. She's an adult. And at some point, she's like, aren't you a little too young to be talking to me? And the comment's like, no, he's not. And she's like, how old are you? I'm 12. That's where we get one of our first really confirmed ages in the comic, which is that if Palt's 12 and him and Goth have been friends for a while, then I can assume they're both 12. And as the, like, comic goes on, he, like, keeps trying to flirt with her, and instead of her, like, and she's not worried that she's flirting with, like, a 12-year-old. She's like, you nearly made me think I offended a very short man. You're not worried that you're flirting with, like, a child? No? Okay. And then one of the other major segments is that, like, little baby Eric gets sick. Okay, he gets the flu. A lot of kids do. But instead, the comics, I got his brother, Gugino, and go, oh, a lot of people die from the flu. And he's like, well, yeah, but you're being ridiculous. Like, yeah, he's smart. Leave him alone. No, stop telling him his brother's gonna die. And then they're like, you already know it, don't you? He's gonna die. And then he starts fucking crying. But but eventually, like, he gets cheered up. But then, I don't know why they did this, but they have a segment where PJ is like trying to wake up, an obviously asleep kid, and he rushes him to the hospital, and Gino's like, and then like oh my god, who was it? I think it was Fresh. I think Fresh and Gino and Arrow were like all brothers in this comic, but like I think they're canonically brothers in the AU thing or whatever. But like he's like, it's, oh, we're alone now. It's only us. And then like apparently at some point he goes fucking missing. Like, you work at a daycare, shouldn't you be like watching the fucking kids instead of like have someone else take one of the kids? Don't like fucking leave a bunch of kids alone in a daycare. Anyways, though, as like this goes on, Gino goes missing, and then like we cut to him standing, not cut, but like after a bit we like find out he's standing on the fucking top of this like long ass steep area. Like, you'd think if you work in a daycare you'd like watch the kids. Okay, you're like, oh well, this is like an example of a young person struggling with trauma. It's probably gonna be dealt with in a proper way. Instead, PJ go like finding him and going, oh, hey, don't worry, he's okay. Everything's going to be alright. You're not worthless. He says, how could you do something so stupid? What the fuck? They're doing it because they think they're stupid. You don't tell them they're stupid. You idiot. Anyways, also the creator of it has like made different types of AUs, such as like fucking what was it called? It was like a Paper Jam AU. I'm gonna censor this so much, but it was a Paper Jam and Fresh AU. There was like a lot of like R wording in this comic between Paper Jam and Fresh. It's like Fresh was like the big bad wolf, while Paper Jam was like Little Red Riding Hood. And there was another comic where like Paper Jam is like a teenager and Fresh is like an adult, and he R words him in that comic as well. It's like really gross. The creators don't like a lot of really gross stuff. If I were to try to go over it, I'd probably get flagged on YouTube, and I feel like I'm gonna have to censor this a lot to not get flagged on YouTube. But like, yeah, this is gonna be like kind of my first video. I'm still not done talking, I don't think. But like, okay, continuing on. Like this creator's made like a bunch of like R-wordy, really fetishy, and like pedophilic types of stuff. And like including, and it's also kind of demonstrated in the comic Paper Jam's Daycare itself. It's kind of gross, kind of disgusting. And I feel like this kind of shows kind of how the Undertale like comic like world works. It can be really good, such as like I don't know, a few comics I've seen are really good, like the one with like Sans and Monica like meeting. That was a really good comic. Really liked that comic. It was cool. I thought it was cute. I thought it was like really nice. Wasn't too romantic. It wasn't meant to be like romantic actually. It was just two characters meeting and having like really funny moments. It was cool. I liked it. But then you have like the Franz comic with like the by the creator who like draws Frisk like really with really giant fucking titties, and like as in like I know she's meant to be an adult, but like do that with like I don't know Flowerfell. It's like that AU is like Frisk is meant to be an adult. Like don't do it with the original AU where Frisk is like literally described as a child, little child. I guess this is also kind of just like a problem with like aging up characters who don't need to be aged up. They are a kid. Why are you shipping a kid with like a fucking adult skeleton in the first place? Again, I'm gonna have to censor this a lot. I think that's enough from me today. Yeah, bye bye.